Mo is one of our interns inside the Joy of Coding Academy. So if you don't know, the Joy of Coding Academy helps problem solvers become six-figure software developers in 6 months. And we offer guaranteed internship experiences because we know that that hands-on experience of actually building and delivering software that works to a client who's paying us for it is how you get those six-figure jobs, because you're already doing the work of a six-figure software developer.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mo. I'm a software engineering student at Drew University, like Dr. Hill mentioned. I had her for both data structures and the software engineering course where she mentioned we worked with the client and all of that. I was primarily a front-end developer, never touched anything besides UI, user interface, and website design, stuff like that. And I got the really nice experience when I got the push from Dr. Hill to, can you please integrate Stripe for me and work as a full stack developer? I did in fact work as a full stack developer, but I'm actually really glad I listened and went in for it. It did take about 3 to 4 weeks to implement Stripe because in general, it's a very, very tough process dealing with payments, and you can't really leave room for error because you're dealing with people's sensitive private information. And I'm just really excited because after the 4 weeks we got it working, even like Dr. Hill mentioned, we had an experience with an all-nighter, but it's awesome. I had a lot of fun because I was debugging. I wasn't alone, so that's really cool. I wasn't just sitting there bored. I was debugging with Dr. Hill and my fellow colleague, David Bobe, amazing software engineer, by the way. It's just overall a really fun experience. It was a lot, working from front end to set up the payment portal, for the user to pay from, to the back end where I'm setting up the products and test keys, live keys, all of that. It was definitely an interesting experience.
And just to kind of help everybody see, for those of you that aren't really, I don't know if everybody's heard of the word Stripe before, so just to take it up a level. So what Mo did is, we deliver software predominantly to startups. So companies that are just getting started, we get to build them from scratch. And so Mo was working on implementing the payment processing. All right. So now just to think about this for a second, how many interns do you know that get to work on something so critical to the client's infrastructure, right? For an actual software project? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in academia, in university. It doesn't happen at boot camps. It doesn't even happen at other tech companies, to be honest, because who's going to put their bread and butter flagship software in the hands of an untrained intern that is unpaid or partially paid? They're not going to do it. You're not going to get that experience. And that's what made this experience so different for Mo, was because we actually handed him an opportunity to be responsible for it.
In all honesty, I'm really thankful, even just being an intern. So thank you again, Dr. Hill. I got to meet with Coach Kyler Johnson and Adam, I believe his last name is Fanslau.
Yes.
Yes, they're both amazing software developers. Definitely have some years under their belt now. Again, I'm very, very thankful for the opportunity. Definitely would not have gotten this experience wherever. So, I learned a lot, very happy with that. And just to be, that kid who was kind of more worried about, am I going to be able to do this? I think I definitely have a career in software, and I'm very happy that I got to do this internship this summer.
Hello, hello, hello. Can everybody see me okay? Welcome. I am Dr. Emily. So good to see you all. Welcome, welcome. All right, all right. How is everybody doing today? Welcome. If you can drop in the chat, I love getting to know where you're from. Again, I'm Dr. Emily. I am from Northern New Jersey, and I'm just super excited to have this opportunity to talk to you today about the Unstoppable AI Developer Blueprint. So good. I'm just going to make sure that we are recording. Yep, it looks like we're still recording, folks. All right, sweet. That was a little bit of an issue earlier this week. And that's partly why this replay is coming to you today. So let's get started.
Thank you so much for sharing where you're
right.
from. We've got David from Colorado. We've got Tonka from Canada. Welcome. Amanda from Florida. Norris from New Jersey in the house. Love it. Alanie from New York. A bunch of New York, New Jersey folks. Welcome. Linda from North Carolina. So good to see you all. So good to see you all. So I am really excited for today. And I have a question for you before we get started. Who is ready to become a highly paid software developer this year? Raise your hand, drop an emoji in the chat. I see Asha, I see Anala's, great, right? I want to see who my action takers are in the house. Christine, Amanda, Mo, so good, so good. Because what if in the next 6 to 9 months, you could become a highly skilled software developer and start applying for jobs in the high 5s and 6 figures, right? Who would want that? Who is like totally down in less than a year of actually having that tech salary commanding high 5s and 6 figures? Who's in it? Let me know in the chat. Give me your hands up. I see David and Amanda and Christine. So good. Definitely give me some love in the chat, folks. If you're here, I'd love to see it. And what if I told you that the road was simple and all you needed to do was to show up for about 2 hours a day? About 2 hours a day, folks. Would you want that roadmap? Who would want that roadmap? Type a yes in the chat. Raise your hand with a Zoom reaction. I want to know that you guys are ready for this. Sheila is, Jane is, Amanda is, Asha is, Anil is. Yes. So good. So good, folks. Awesome. Because that is what we're going to work through today. I'm going to show you exactly how in the next 6 to 9 months, you can become a highly skilled software developer and start earning what you deserve. Am I right? Like this is what we're here for. All right, cool. So glad that you guys are on board too. Okay. Now, I used to be a professor. If you watch the little training we just had, I used to be a professor, and you can take the professor out of the classroom, but you can't take the educator out of the professor. And I want you guys to get a ton of value out of today's masterclass. And in fact, my former university students have paid over $49,000 for the information I'm about to share with you today. So let me ask you this. Do you want this to be a moment where you kind of pay attention? Or do you want this to be the moment where you have an opportunity to turn your future around for good? Okay, like I'm serious here, right? Tonight, what we're talking about this afternoon, you could absolutely change your life with this. Okay, that's the power of what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So listen up. Okay, you may not feel it yet, but I promise you, by the end of this session, you're not only going to see what's possible, you're also going to know how to start creating your place in this new AI-powered tech world. I know it's a bold promise. I love it, Amanda. The moment. So how do we get the most out of our time together today? Okay, so I'd love to see it in the chat. Okay, this is not one of those presentations where I'm just going to talk at you, right? Like this is a conversation. We are working together to help you level up and gain access to those high 5 and 6 figure roles that you've been dreaming about in tech. So I'm just curious from you guys, how can we get the most out of our time together today, right? So how do you get the most out of this? How do we learn? What's the best way to learn? Is it reading? Am I going to learn a lot by reading stuff? Maybe. Is it writing? Am I going to learn a lot by writing? Linda's got it. Learn by doing, right? We do something with it. We take action, right? So we're on Zoom. So what do you have available to you when we're on this in this platform, right? In this mode of communicating, right? You can say it. You can say it out loud to your room, right? When we have these like moments with insights, say them out loud. You can write them down, right? But even better is share them. Type them in the chat, right? Put it in the Zoom chat, say it out loud in your room, whatever you need to do. Because at the end of the day, how many of you want to remember this strategy that my former university students paid $49,000 for? Who wants to remember it? Who wants to remember it? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Give me a Zoom emoji, thumbs up, thumbs down. Let me know where you're at. James does. He's in. Anil's in. Glenn does. Absolutely. Awesome sauce, folks. Because throughout today's masterclass, I'm going to be asking you questions and reminding you to write things down so that you can get the most out of it. Because today, I'm going to show you exactly how you can become an unstoppable AI developer and start earning 6 figures in the next year. Who's with me? Who's with me? Awesome sauce. I love it. Oh, you guys are great. Super awesome. Super, super awesome. Okay. Before I share that strategy, would it be cool if I shared just a little bit about my background of how I learned to become a confident coder in tech? Is that cool with you guys? Sweet. Just let me know. Awesome sauce. Loving it. Because this will give you a frame for what I'm about to share with you today. Okay. This will give you a frame for what I'm about to share with you. Awesome. So can I get real with you guys for a second? Because I'm going to throw some really big numbers at you. And I just want to be real. $244,000 in 10 years. I'm going to repeat that one more time. $244,000 in 10 years. This is how much it cost me to learn how to code. I got all the CS degrees, and I still had to teach myself. How frustrating, right? Has anyone ever heard this idea that if you want to learn something, you go to university, right? You take a course, you roll into boot camp. Yeah, I did all the things. Nobody taught me how to code. And I was so frustrated that when it was over, I went on a mission to teach absolutely anyone how to code from scratch and create incredible software. So I don't know, how many of you have tried to learn how to code? Maybe even applied for jobs, right? Anyone do that? Let me know. Pop it in the chat. James has. Yep. I'd love to know where you are, folks. Yep, Amanda has. I get it. I spent over a decade and nearly $250,000 on degrees, certifications, and research trying to crack that code on how people actually learn to build software as quickly as possible. Linda started as a developer. Welcome. And I'm telling you right now, a boot camp or degree is not what's going to get you there. And right now, today, AI alone isn't enough either, but more on that later. Just to put this into context, yes, I did get my PhD. It took me 7 years, and no, it shouldn't have taken that long. I was just persistent and a little stubborn. But along the way, I published over 50 internationally peer-reviewed papers. I was invited to speak at Microsoft Research. I was cited thousands of times in software engineering and education research. I earned awards. All of this is part of the hard way. But you don't need to follow that path. You don't need to spend 10 years learning how to code anymore. And to be honest, I didn't fully get it until years later when something really unusual happened. So, I was working every year. I was, trying to figure this out. Okay, like how do I reach my students? How do I help them learn how to build amazing software, to build code that lasts, to unlock these 6-figure skills? And I finally graduated this cohort. It was a small cohort of 16 students. They all landed 6-figure job offers, every single one. And they came back and they told me exactly what about the method I'd been creating, the method I'd been teaching them, what it worked. And that was the aha moment that showed me it doesn't have to be hard to learn how to code and build the 6-figure tech career. It can happen quickly. And today with AI, it's made it even easier. That's the shortcut that I'm going to be sharing with you today. You don't have to do it the hard way. You just need the right approach, one that trains you how real developers think, practice, and get paid. Yes, even with AI. And today, I'm going to show you what that looks like. Who is ready? Let me know in the chat. Let me know who's ready. And then we'll pull back the curtain a little bit. I love it. Evan is so good. So good. Jane is, Tonka is, Timothy is, excellent. David is. Now, I do want to share one more tidbit because, why would I have this gift given to me of this knowledge of how to create, six-figure software developers left and right, right? Let me just peel back the curtain a little bit and share with you why I'm so confident in the system that I'm sharing with you today, right? You don't have to just take my word for it. Let's look at the evidence, right? Are you ready for some results? So in 2024, our student salary offers ranged from 70K to 170K. Pretty nice, right? How many of you would be okay with a tech job with a salary in the 70 to 170K range? That's what our student offers were last year. Amanda would be, right? Yep. So in 2024. But how do I know that we've really got this dialed in? In the last 9 months, since fall of 2024, every student who's gotten an offer was six figures. Every single one. AI didn't hurt our grads. It catapulted them to success. So are you guys ready to see how? Are you ready to see how? Let's do this. All right. So I just want to let you know, this is tried and true, right? Exactly what I'm sharing with you today. The secret sauce. I am holding nothing back. So make sure you have if you have any questions, there's a link at the below where you can put them in for the Q&A. All right. So at the end of the day, AI is not a threat, right? What do these highly paid coders know that most people don't? Some people are afraid that AI is going to take their jobs, but the smart developers, they're doubling their value with it. Because AI doesn't replace great developers, it amplifies them, it makes them even better. So they can deliver 10x of what they could do on their own before. When you learn how to think like a coder, AI becomes your fastest team member, not your replacement. Let me give you guys an example. Okay. I'm going to date myself a little bit here. Does anyone remember driving before GPS? Does anyone remember driving before GPS? Let me know. Yes, I see some have. Excellent. So before GPS, we had to print out directions on MapQuest. We had to memorize exits, write things down, go to gas stations and ask when we got lost, and stress over every wrong turn, right? But when GPS came along, did driving disappear? No, it just got easier, way easier. A good driver with GPS, they get places faster. They explore more. They don't panic when they miss a turn. They just reroute and keep going. But someone who's never learned to drive, a GPS isn't going to help them. And AI is the same way. When you know how to think like a coder, AI becomes your GPS. It helps you build faster, make smarter decisions, and focus on the destination, not every little line of syntax. So the coders that are winning right now aren't the ones who memorize directions. They're the ones who can drive with AI riding shotgun as their co-pilot. All right. AI isn't replacing developers, it's replacing the grind. It's replacing inefficiency, repetition, and memorization. It's allowing us as humans to focus on what only we can do, right? There's things that humans can do that AI can't, that it will never, right? So we get to focus on what only we can do and envision what we want to see in reality and then create it, right? Just take a second and imagine the power of that, of being able to create whatever you want with tech, from scratch, just create it to be totally unstoppable. Here's the thing. As a society, we've actually been here before. Get this. This whole technology replaces developers thing, it's not new. Just out of curiosity, has anyone ever seen assembly? Has anyone ever seen assembly? Let me know in the chat. I'm just curious. Yeah, Anil has. Yeah, Linda has. Yeah, so back in the day, programmers used to program in code that looked like this, what you see on the screen right now. Okay, it's called 3-address code is another name for it. And it has a command and then 2 optional memory locations. And it's very, very simple. You can't do very much with it. Its whole purpose is to convert that logic into zeros and ones, machine code, right? Machine code. So it's assembly and then it's zeros and ones, the binary. And so eventually higher level languages came out. Higher level languages are what we program in today. Things like Python, JavaScript, Java, C, like C++. These are higher level languages. At one point, though, there was the first high level language. And so C came out. And yes, there was actually A and B languages before C. C was just the one that kind of gained popularity. And so with C, it converted even higher level language to assembly. But the assembly programmers were like, real coders use assembly, and they totally beat C. Like C will never replace the human assembler coder, right? And it's true. I mean, do we have any assembly programmers here, right? Have you seen any job ads for assembly lately? Yes, there are some, but they're very, very few, right? There's not very many of them. So the idea, though, is that those assembly programmers were wrong. They were replaced, but did developers disappear? No, right? C made development more accessible, more powerful. It was a new compiler. And so it actually made it possible for even more people to become developers than were developers before. Okay? So AI is like the new compiler. It's the tool that turns fast learners into lightning fast builders. All right? So I know we hear a lot, right? Like word on the street, we hear all these things. They get thrown, we get bombarded with messages, and everyone's just creating all this fear and frustration for everyone. But in reality, they've been here before, and developers didn't disappear. They just evolved. They just evolved. So would you guys like to know how to use AI to learn faster? Let me know. Drop it in the chat. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for me to share this now? Amanda is. I love it. Super awesome. Excellent. 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 Sweet. So I would like you to meet your new coding assistant, AI. And for years, many of us have been told that real coders have to memorize everything, to write from scratch. And don't get me wrong, you do want to learn how to write code from scratch, but only at the most basic level, right? It's like only to learn the alphabet of coding, the basics when you're a beginner, right? That's the purpose of writing from scratch. Real developers are never creating from scratch. They're creating from templates, right? So in school, we were told if we use tools or shortcuts or support, then we're cheating. But that's not how the world works anymore. It's not about creating from scratch, other than as a tool for learning. It's about iterating. AI is not here to replace you. It's here to assist you, to accelerate your thinking, to make you more of you, to give you feedback when you're stuck, to let you experiment without fear. So how can we use AI to fast track your career? Okay, so while learning, we want to use AI to ask better questions, not answers, right? Think of it like this. AI is like your magical dictionary, this super powered Google, right? But it only gets as smart if you ask smart questions. So to learn how to think like a coder, right, which is really what you need, that's the superpower, you need to ask like a problem solver, right? We're not asking for the answer, we're asking to understand our own process, the process of experts to help us get better. That's how you grow. And trust me, if you can get a hold of a human expert, do it. Because the one thing a beginner can't know is if the AI is right. It's so hard as a beginner to know that, right? If it's following current best practices. So one of the things I teach all of my students to do, and this is a total game changer, is that once the code that you're working on is working, it's functional, it meets the requirements, see if it can be made better. And this one thing, asking this one question after I created programs, was how I single-handedly taught myself every major software development and software engineering principle, right? Instead of guessing how to improve your code, right? That's what I had to do. It took me a long time, 6 years, right? But now we have AI. You can simply ask AI, can you help me make this code drier? Can you help me make this code drier? So dry stands for don't repeat yourself. Can someone throw that in the chat for me? Don't repeat yourself. This way, AI is teaching you, guiding you to become a next level developer. It's a total game changer, because with this one skill, I mean, it'll take a while. Believe me, it took me years to teach myself in this way, you know, one program at a time. Thank you so much, Glenn. But if you apply this diligently every time you write a piece of code, you will get better no matter what, no matter what. And if you want to do it faster, let me know. I can share a way with you that you can do it even faster than that. Okay. So this is what you want to see while you're learning. This is how you can use AI. To be honest, a good mentor, right? Someone you can ask questions of is really, really critical as well, so that you can cross-check AI, because AI will just lie to us and it won't tell us. And when you're a beginner, you don't know enough to read between the lines and figure that out. So when you're on the job, how do you continue to use AI throughout your career? Let's be real for a second. Companies don't pay you to write perfect code, right? They pay you to solve problems, to ship solutions, and move fast. AI helps you prototype, iterate, and refine. So you don't have to be perfect. You just need to be able to iterate to the solution and troubleshoot it. And that's the mindset shift that most people miss. AI isn't your replacement. It's your junior dev. You still lead it. You still think. You still build. But now you get to build with power tools, right? To become a developer now, you don't just want to know how to code. You want to know how to think, how to lead, right? How to build with AI. So you become the kind of developer that tech companies fight to hire, and the ones that stay, right? So now that you know that AI isn't the threat, it's the accelerator. But here's the catch. You can't take advantage of AI until you start thinking like a coder, right? Just like how if I get into a car, it's useless to me if I don't have the key to turn it on, right? AI is useless if you don't understand the fundamentals behind the prompts. That's why you want to focus on learning to think like a coder, the kind that companies can't replace. Are you guys ready to see what that looks like? Let me know. Let me know, because that's coming up next. I see Aaron smiling. That's good. Excellent, Tanka. Excellent, Shelly. Let's do this. Let's do this. So this is the true superpower of how you become unstoppable in tech. Okay? Thinking like a coder. Because let's be honest, AI can look like it knows everything, right? It can give you code, it can explain frameworks, it can even sketch out an entire project. But here's what nobody talks about. AI can't get it working. Has anyone ever tried to vibe code in one of those code generators and like actually launch a project? Maybe it was just me, but when I've gone on there, it works until it doesn't. Right? And that's totally cool for prototypes when you're building something new. But when you want to actually launch software and start a business around it, like you need it to work all the time and be reliable. And you need someone who can go in and just fix it, right? This is what nobody talks about. How AI at the end of the day can actually get it working. That last 20%, that part where things break, where real users test it and use it in these incredible ways you never imagined. Or when the database returns something unexpected. Like, for instance, when there was a Stack Overflow error that blew up a rocket, a multi-million-dollar rocket in the atmosphere, right? This is the part where we really separate the real coders, the true coders, from the beginners, right? You know, even though there's AI with us, right? True coders are born when they actually can get things working. Because getting it working means that you know how to debug messy things. Think through the edge cases, the unexpected things that only happen occasionally, and adapt. This is the most important thing, folks. You can write this down. Being able to adapt when AI solution doesn't run, right? how to fit it in, how to put it together. That's about learning how to think like a coder, to diagnose and to troubleshoot and to solve, to get it working no matter what, right? This is the skill that no AI can replace. And the moment you lock that in, you become irreplaceable and you open the door to your dream career, right? At the end of the day, AI is evolving the role of a developer, right? It's transforming tech. AI can create powerful prototypes super fast, and it's an incredible tool for learning, but not delivering. Again, this is not new, right? Again, everything we're seeing right now as a society we've seen before. Take bookkeepers and accountants, right? Has anyone ever used Excel or QuickBooks or any of those accounting softwares, right? Can you imagine when bookkeepers and accountants saw this software, did they think they might lose jobs? Maybe, right? Do we still have bookkeepers and accountants? Just out of curiosity, folks. Yes, of course we do. Because nobody wants to sit there dealing with the software, right? The software evolved their role and made their work lives easier so they can focus on the things the software can't do, right? They can work up here. They can work with their clients. Now they focus on making sure the software did everything right and that it meets their clients' needs. AI is the same way, right? It's just a new tool. We still need practitioners to go in and use it. When we work with AI in coding, the developer's role is evolving, right? And learning to work with AI often means troubleshooting, getting it working no matter what, so that you deliver what you promised. Tech is the superpower. Just imagine for a second feeling that powerful, feeling that you could solve any problem in tech. The method that I'm showing you today can do that. And I know because I've helped people using these skills on languages I've never seen before. And I still help them move forward because it's the process of problem solving. It's the process of getting it working, of thinking through. Tech as a superpower. Just imagine what that would feel like for a second to be able to solve any tech challenge with AI as your sidekick. Pretty awesome, right? Pretty awesome. So, what do today's companies actually want from developers in the age of AI, right? What does this mean for someone who's on the tech job market right now? And just out of curiosity, is anyone actually on the tech job market as we speak, submitting applications? I'd love to see it. Just give me a hands up emoji, drop it in the chat. I'd love to know. Yeah, Evan is. Okay, awesome. Good to know. So now that there's AI, what skills do developers actually need, right? So if you want to go from ghosted to an unstoppable top candidate, what do you need, right? Yeah, Evan's got it. Evan's mentioning historically soft skills. I'm going to talk about those in a second. But basically what's happening as we evolve the role of developer is that humans, like the developer, needs to be able to interface with humans, right? That's a key thing. And experience, Amanda, exactly. Oh, so good. You guys got this, right? So to go from ghosted to unstoppable, we have to have systems thinking. That was the only thing I didn't see from you guys, right? Systems thinking, right? We're not just learning frameworks. And to be honest, that was like never the point. All the developers that were focused on syntax and frameworks were missing the boat. These were the ones that were getting laid off because they didn't actually know how to do it. And tech, because tech changes so fast, you have to have a process for learning and doing. Like literally, that's it. That's all you need to know is like how to learn new stuff, which AI basically solves that for the most part. And then you need to be able to do it. You need to be able to get it working, right? So literally, it comes down to being able to get it working. Like legit, that is it, if you can get it working. But so few people have learned these skills because so few people are teaching them, right? Versus I have a very unique background because I spent my entire PhD learning how to debug stuff and how to teach it super fast. That's like literally what my PhD was in. So this systems thinking is also beyond the level of what most AI can tell you. This is more human level, because at the end of the day, AI can't know what the human wants. It can make suggestions, but it's up to the AI to choose. And so with systems thinking, this is really like senior dev territory, because that's what's happening, right? Basically, if AI is everyone's junior developer, what's happened to junior developers? Those jobs don't really exist the same way. AI has raised the bar. So to get access to those six-figure salaries, right, those six-figure career opportunities, we have to level up to that senior developer mentality. You can do that fast, but it involves that systems level thinking of learning how to balance, the flow of information, how to make it scalable, how to make it reliable, how to make it robust, right? How to test it so that things don't break, right? All of those pieces, that system level thinking. These are decisions, right? These are high level decisions. It's not frameworks, right? It's not frameworks and languages. So it's about getting these systems working. And the systems are both with human and machine, right? It's about collaborating, understanding human needs, and leveraging AI's speed to solutions that work and are also reliable and scalable. Okay. Now, some people also mentioned, so this is kind of that soft skill piece that as developers, we're learning how to be the interface between the AI and the other humans, right? But we're the ones that actually get the system working in the middle, right? Right in that middle layer. And then finally, right, it's about showing that real world proof of deploying. So like Amanda mentioned, experience, right? Having proof that you can deliver in real life, not just tutorials and certificates. So the question you want to be asking yourself is, right, can you solve real problems for real clients with real deadlines using real developer tools, right? Not just, in a portfolio or a sandbox, but like for real deadlines, real challenges. Once you have that, right, you also want to make sure that you can think like a coder. That's going to unlock all of this and being able to solve any problem that's placed in front of you. Because when you can show that you can solve real problems for real clients, right, it's a total game changer. Because no company wants to hire a developer and then have to train them before they can just start contributing. Like whenever a company is hiring a developer, they wanted that person like 2 weeks ago. They don't want to train you for 2 weeks to get you ready. And no joke, those FAANG companies like Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Netflix, they train their developers for as long as 12 months, an entire year, before they even let them touch their production code. A whole year. That's like the big companies. The little companies, which are like the easiest to get into and get your career started, they don't have time for that, right? Like they don't have time to have their developers, who are one of their most highly paid employees, like train them for a year. They don't have the time, they don't have the expertise. And so that's partially why you always see experience being so valuable on these job opportunities, because nobody wants to do the work. What most people don't realize is just knowing how to code is not enough. It hasn't been enough. Like I've been training students in this for over a decade now, right? Like it's never been enough. This was always the fast path to the six-figure jobs. But now the companies have realized it too, that learning to code is not enough, that you actually have to know the tools that teams use, and they're different. And until you're on a team working on a real project for a real client, it's really hard to see that there's all this tooling, and you have to master that too. To be honest, I can train you to think like a coder in a month or two, but it takes a month or two more to train you in all the tech stack involved in delivering like actual client results for real software. And so most companies don't have that kind of time to train people. And so that's why they expect it and they ask for it right out of the gate, right out of the gate. So you really need both of these two things. It's the 1-2 punch. So would you guys like to see that? Would you guys like to see exactly how to build these skills? Even if you're a developer just starting out, who would like to see that? Let me know. Pop in the chat. Erin's ready. Mo, Timothy, Alicia. Perfect. Linda, excellent. All right, let's do this. And if you're not a beginner, I'm going to show the beginner time frames first, and then I can show you for experts as well. Okay. All right. Now I've been sharing a lot with you today. All right, guys, I'm not holding anything back. If you do have questions, feel free to ask. Pop them in the Q&A slot on Zoom, and I'll make sure to answer them before we end today. So what I'd like to do, though, is kind of put this all together for you in a short and sweet timeline, if that sounds cool. Is that cool with you guys? All right. So what does this look like? Because it doesn't have to take that long. We have students that follow this pipeline all the time. So phase 1 is the training phase where you learn to think like a coder, right? Trying to learn to code without knowing these basics of thinking like a coder is like trying to read a novel without knowing the alphabet. How hard would it be to read a whole book, if you didn't know the alphabet? Pretty frustrating, right? Maybe you'd give up in frustration because it was just so annoying and so much work. I've seen it happen a lot to coders because they dive straight into some crazy language like JavaScript that doesn't make any sense, and they're lost and confused and they give up. I've seen it so many times, right? It would be really hard to read if you didn't know your letters. So almost impossible, right? And the same is true of the basics of coding. So again, this is where most beginners struggle, and it's totally pointless because there's an easier way. Once you've mastered that easier way of how to think like a coder, now you're ready to incorporate AI. And you can start to use AI as your personal junior developer, someone who helps you write, debug, and ship projects that you actually understand, right? This is the whole learning how to build from scratch bit. It typically takes, I see people doing this in about 1 to 3 months typically, okay? Once you've done this, then you move on to phase 2, real world experience. This is absolutely essential. And I can tell you, this is the secret sauce, folks, of why our students get all 6-figure offers, okay? So if you want, you can write this down. You can take a screenshot at the end. I'll give you a moment to do that. But this is where you go from learner to builder, right? Imagine the power of learning on a real team, working on real projects, following industry standard best practices, with proof that you can lead, contribute, and problem solve. And then, not only that, there is a critical question that comes up on tech interviews. When was the last time you deployed to production? Okay, what does that mean, right? For those of you that are beginners, deploying to production is the process of taking code that you wrote and getting it live on the internet, integrated into your team's project. And I will tell you, I had a student who had never coded before, but he had taught himself. He knew what he was doing. He would go on interviews and they would ask that question and he had no answer. When was the last time you deployed to production? Never. Boom. They would walk away. See you later. Nice knowing you. Because because they know there's a whole other set of skills and tools that must be mastered. And so this individual came in. He came into the TechJoy Academy. He did our real world experience on our internship. He just got an offer a couple months ago, $123K. $123K. And he could get interviews, but he couldn't get hired, right? He couldn't get past that deploy question. It has been absolutely essential to have this real world experience for over a decade. I've been giving this to my students, right? It's why we have such a high number of 6-figure software developers in our alumni, right? This is the secret sauce. This is the secret sauce. Because with real world experience, you're not just ready for interviews. You become someone that AI can't replace. You become someone who can immediately contribute to the team, that they don't have to train on every little thing. Okay. This usually takes 1 to 3 months more, 1 to 3 months more. Okay. And finally, phase 3, the job hunt, right? This is the last phase, the fun part. where you get to put all your knowledge together into action and start going after those six-figure career offers. So you can prepare with mock interviews, right? You want to practice two different types of interviews in this phase. You want to practice your technical interview, which is kind of like a final exam in an area of computer science called data structures and algorithms. You also want to prepare for your behavioral interview, which is a face-to-face interview, right? You want to work on building connections, showcasing your talents, right? You want to ideally allow up to 6 months for this process. I've earmarked 5 here, okay? Does this make sense? Let me know in the chat. Give me a thumbs up, give me an emoji. Does this make sense, this timeline? Okay. Awesome. All right, Evan, see if you can retype that. See if you can retype that, Evan. Awesome sauce. Right? Awesome. So this is the timeline if you're a beginner with no experience. If you're a beginner with no work experience, in tech, you would want to pick the higher amounts, right? It would take about 6 to 12 months to get there typically. Sometimes as long as 18. If you're a true beginner, like if you've never coded a day in your life, if you've never worked in a technical field, it's going to take longer. But sometimes it can be much faster. Would you guys like to see how this looks if you already have prior experience? So if maybe you've been to a boot camp before, or you've been teaching yourself how to code, or if you're already working in some area of tech, not as a coder, like IT or databases, something like that. Would you guys like to see what the timeline looks like if you have a little bit of experience? Yeah, Aaron, Q&A would count as well. Yep. Excellent. So Linda's asking 4 to 6 months working with a client. So Linda, typically what happens is as soon as a student becomes an intern, they typically continue working with a client until they get the job offer because it just keeps adding months to their resume, right? So typically once students get to the internship, they stay while they're applying for jobs. Yeah, great questions. So when you have experience already, this can actually go way faster, right? This can go way faster. So for instance, my fastest student ever got a job offer in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Isn't that incredible? He applied for jobs and they were going to try and teach him how to code. And he was like, so he got through the process and they're like, we thought you said you didn't know how to code. He's like, yeah, I just did 2 weeks. And they're like, oh, you already know what to do, everything we would have taught you. So it can happen that fast, folks. It can be really powerful. I've had students get job offers in as little as 2 to 3 months, right? Yeah, it can be all over the place. So if you do have prior experience in tech, like if you're in QA, DevOps, things like that, it typically only takes 1 to 2 months for each of these phases. And if you're really fast, my fastest student to the internship did it in a weekend. I've had 2 students do it in a weekend. So if you actually know what you're doing, the beginning phases are just like an entrance exam. It's like entrance requirements. It's not a big deal. It's super fast. But if you're learning these skills for the first time, right, you'll need to allow more space to really master them because we're really teaching you a new way of thinking. Right? Like how to think like a coder. If you have older coding experience that's not current, it's not new, it's not recent, you'll be fine. Because once you learn how to code in any language, the principles that we teach will help unlock all the languages for you, right? We're just going to put a framework on top of it to make it easier. I think, Evan, what if you were starting on a team in a week? Evan, I need just a little bit more on that question if you can. All right, just a little bit more, which is awesome. Congrats if you're working on a team in a week. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, any questions about this? If you want, now would be the moment to take a screenshot, right? Now would be the moment to take a screenshot. So I have one final question here for you guys. Does this look doable for you? Does this look like a reasonable timeline to you to help advance and start your career? Does it sound reasonable? Let me know. Mo says, Asha says, excellent, excellent, awesome. Totally, Glenn. Excellent. All right. Perfect, Smyrn. Timothy, maybe. All right. Well, I think there is one missing piece. What if it was only 2 hours a day? for 6 to 12 months. Would that be doable? 2 hours a day. It's got to be consistent. Nice, Evan. Excellent. Excellent. Asha, Mo, yes. Doable. Yes, Licia. Excellent. All right, cool. Now I want to share something else with you guys. Something really, really big. Okay? Because my question to you is, do you want to be ahead of the curve or behind? Ahead of the curve or behind? Because there's been a lot of talk about tech jobs, right? Has anyone ever heard that the tech job market is tough right now? Has anyone heard that? I hear it left and right. Asha has. Yep, I know. And you know what's funny is when I got my first job, I was a computer science professor. And when I got my first job, it was historically like the worst job, like academic job cycle in decades. No one was getting hired. Everyone was getting these like things called postdocs, which is basically like you just go be a grad student for another professor for a few years. Nobody was getting hired. I got a job. I got a few interviews, right? It doesn't have to be the way everyone says. Like, I mean, for and to give you another example, when I applied to graduate school, I didn't meet any of the requirements. SAT, GRE scores, GPA. I think maybe GPA I met. Nothing else. I didn't meet any of their standards. Not only was I accepted, I was given an extra scholarship to entice me to come. All right. So no matter what you hear out there, there's going to be other experiences, right? There's going to be other experiences. So can I just share this with you guys? Like the actual state of the tech job market. Are you guys cool with that? Can I share that with you? Because I'm actually really excited for what I'm seeing here for you guys, but I want to make sure that you can see it too, right? Okay. So did you know that right now, this week, there are over 230,000 tech jobs available right now. Right now. Who would like one? Who would like one of those? Let's sign our names up, right? Let's go get it. Let's go get it. Here's the thing. It's not about the number of jobs. It's about having the right skills, right, that we just talked about, and getting noticed. More on this in a few minutes, right? But here's some things you can see from the data, right? What if you could know without a shadow of a doubt that there will be more tech jobs in the future, that there are all these tech jobs now, and there's going to even be more? Like, wouldn't that be cool? Would you guys like to see that? Would you guys like to see how you can figure out if there's going to be more jobs in the future, more tech jobs, like in the immediate future, like in the next year? Would you guys like to see that? Okay. So but first, as I get into that, let me ask you guys, do any of you recall ever predicting the future? Okay. Let me put it a different way. Can anyone tell me whether it's going to rain or not? Who knows how to tell if it's going to rain? Who can predict the future? How do we tell? We use the weather forecast. We might even go outside and see dark clouds, right? We have the power to predict the future with the right data. Okay? Now you might be asking, Dr. Emily, what the heck does this have to do with tech jobs? Okay? But if we can predict the future, we can know if the number of tech jobs is going to go up or down. With me? In the same way that we can use data to predict the weather, stock traders have been using data to predict human behavior for hundreds of years. Just out of curiosity, has anyone ever traded stocks before? Just out of curiosity, right? So I've dabbled in day trading once upon a time, and there are patterns that traders know about that indicate whether a stock will go up or down with frightening accuracy. These patterns predict human behavior. It's what gave rise to algorithmic trading, if you've heard of that. So I want you to notice a couple things here, right, with this job chart. the tech job trend line is going up. Win. And not only that, this is a double win here, guys. It's showing a classic double bottom. This is a buy signal, all right? It's bouncing along an upward trend line. I have bought this pattern so many times, all right? So let me just show you. This is, from a website that teaches stock trading patterns. This is the double bottom. Do you guys see what happens on the other side of the double bump on the bottom of that W? Where is this line looking like it's going to go? Do you guys see that? I was so excited when I pulled this. When I pulled this data, I was like, oh, there's a double bottom. It's going up, right? So now that you can see for yourself, right? Now is the moment to get into tech. Now is that moment, right before it starts going up. So you are ready. You are on it. You can get in and be ahead of the curve. All right. So who is ready to learn this system of how to use AI to get a new tech role in 2025? Are you guys ready for this? I'll give you a couple more pieces of information about this. Are you ready? Who's ready to have that tech job? A new tech role in 2025. Yes, Mo is, River is, Asha is. So good. Excellent, folks. Excellent. All right, sweet. Now, just out of curiosity, has anyone ever tried to learn to code before and been frustrated? Has anyone tried to learn to code before and been frustrated? Alicia, maybe. Because I get it. I've done 3 computer science degrees, right? Has anyone ever signed up for a boot camp or a degree and still not known how to create something from scratch? Right? Yeah. James, Christine, I'm sorry that was your experience. Oh. I just want to take a moment and clear this out. Like, let's clear this out of the way, right? Because if you've been burned before and you've been frustrated, this will prevent you from the success that you're capable of, right? It's really challenging after being burned, right? I think it was only because I was like so stubborn that I went and I got 3 computer science degrees when the first one didn't work and the second one didn't work. And eventually I just taught myself while I was getting my 3rd one, right? You are not the problem. The system was broken. It did not serve you. Okay? The system wasn't built for you. To be honest, the system wasn't really built for anyone. It was just built by the intuitive geniuses that just got it. All right? It took me 6 years just to figure it out. And along the way, I created a pathway where anyone can shortcut their time to learn. And AI has only made it even better. So let me ask you this, right? Let me ask you this. Last time when you were burned, when you tried to learn before, did you learn to think like a coder so that you could code anything from scratch? Not that you have to code from scratch, but you want to in the beginning, just like we need to learn to write before we can ask AI. We have to learn the basics, right? Did you have accountability and a community rallying around your success? Did you have mentors who actually care if you make an impact? Did you get actual experience or just lessons? Did you have a real resume review, interview practice, and job hunt coaching? All right. So if you've been burned before, consider this. What if this time the structure is different? Maybe, Timothy, in your case, maybe you just need another go around in a slightly different way. Maybe you got partway there and just weren't able to take it all the way. But what if it's more about transforming and delivering than in book learning? What if this time you're not doing it alone? What if this time it's not about learning more, it's about learning smarter? Because when you've been burned before, what you really need isn't another course. You need a system that actually works and a team that walks with you to get you over the finish line. More on that in a minute. More on that in a minute. Okay. So at the end of the day, what do you need to earn 6 figures in tech? Right? What do you need to earn 6 figures in tech? Right? Is anyone wondering, can I do this? Is anyone wondering if they can really do this right now? I'm just curious. Yeah, Mo, Anil, Asha. Because I actually want to compliment you. Because today, right now, you've already shown that you can do what is required. And everyone's like, wait, what? What have I done to show this? You showed up. You are here right now, watching, listening, learning, participating. This is the only key ingredient, the secret sauce for you to have what you desire. Let me share a story with you. All right. Showing up and doing the work. This is the key. Let me show you how. So there was once a gentleman who played basketball. He was cut from his high school basketball team. Cut from his high school basketball team. It was a bummer. But it was his response, right? For some people, being cut from your high school basketball team could have been like the end of your basketball career. Right? Oh, that's it. I guess this isn't for me. Not this guy. His response was to keep showing up. So he couldn't show up with his friends and his team on the basketball court in school. He showed up at home. He showed up for 1,000 baskets a day, not shots, baskets. So he kept shooting baskets until he made 1,000 per day. That man's name was Michael Jordan, affectionately known as one of the greats, the all-time GOATs of basketball, right? So that's my question to you. You've made a start today. Do you think you can do that? Not 1,000 baskets a day. Let me be clear. Do you think that you can build on the momentum that you've created by showing up today for about an hour, a little bit more? Can you continue to consistently show up for your future for 2 hours a day or about 10 hours a week? Who thinks they can do that? Who thinks that they can continue showing up for 2 hours a day? River does. Mo does. So good. Right? So good. Awesome. Because literally, that is it. And yes, Sarah, I know I've seen some questions about people feeling like 40 is an old age for software coders. It is not. It is not. Our oldest student is 79. All right. You can be any age. Every age brings different contributions, different skill sets, right? And there are certain companies that only hire fully functioning adults that will not hire fresh grads. To be honest, fresh grads often don't know how to work with people and may or may not have a strong work ethic. So that depends, right? These are all acquirable skills, and when you put them together, fire sauce. All right, fire sauce. Yeah, exactly. So even for, I have had senior candidates go on the job market. It's about a strategy for how you're going to translate your life experience, your expertise for that job market. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. So just out of curiosity, who is going to become a 6-figure software developer this year or next year? Who's going to become a 6-figure software developer this year or next year? Because we're at the halfway point, folks. I'm going to tell you when the hiring times are, and we're kind of at the halfway point in between. So say I. Say I. Who's going to become a 6-figure software developer this year? River is. I love it. Asha is. Mo is. Glenn is. Christina is. So good, right? Perfect. So you're going to want to start with some kind of learning materials, right? Like some kind of a training program. So how are we going to learn? Okay. Well, let's use an example here. Let's say my dream is to climb Mount Everest. Oh boy, here we go, right? How am I going to learn to do that one? Am I going to watch a video? What are my chances of success? I don't, you know, I love me some TV shows, but I'm not learning to climb a mountain watching a TV show. Just gonna say that, right? Doesn't matter how much HGTV I watch, I am not learning how to build a house, right? It could be that fixer-upper, the beachfront bargain hunt. Love that one. I'm not gonna learn how to build a house watching a bunch of videos, right? What's missing when I watch a video of someone else doing it, right? How to think through it, right? All the little nuances. The same things the same skill, that same problem solving in the moment skill that we need to succeed with AI is the same thing that's missing when a video shows you, right? There's 1,000 little questions. You can't possibly Google them all. ChatGPT can't give you everything. Not quite everything, right? Maybe we'll use AI, right? Maybe we'll use AI. But we all have those same challenges, right, from before. AI can tell us how to do things, but it can't actually do it for us. We still have to do it. We have to get it working, right? Or what if I could work with an experienced team of Sherpas who had been to the top of Mount Everest not once, but many times, right? What do you guys think of my success then? Do you think I'd be more successful climbing to the top of a mountain with a team behind me, training with them every single day, having them guide me, help me, because they've been there before, not once, but many times, right? Who thinks that would be they'd be more likely to succeed at the top of Everest? For sure, right? For sure. Absolutely. And I know there's no guarantees in life, but what if we could? What if we could even guarantee it? More on that in a minute. More on that in a minute. So a lot of you may be asking the question, what's next? Is it okay with you guys if I share just a little bit about the program that we've created for those who are ready for the next step? I know this isn't for everybody, but it will be perfect for some of you. All right. Is that cool, you guys? I love it. Super, super awesome. Super awesome. Excellent. Did I get a thumbs up? I think I did. I think I did. Awesome. Or cool. I can't tell if that definitely was okay for this. You guys are ready to rock and roll? Okay, perfect. They got the thumbs up. Just want to make sure we're all good. Okay, cool. Excellent. So who is this for, right? Because I know it's perfect for some, but it's not for everybody. This is for you if you're just getting started. If you're tired of the struggle of learning on your own, of Googling or using ChatGPT for everything and just not getting the answers that you need, right? This is for you if you can dedicate 2 hours a day to become a 6-figure coder this year, okay? This is for you if you know that real world experience will give you the skills and confidence to land your first tech job, okay? This is for you if you're ready to stop sending your resume everywhere and just get a freaking job already, all right? Awesome. So I want you guys to take a minute and just think about how much is a 6-figure tech career worth it to you, right? What would you be willing to pay if you knew without a shadow of a doubt that 9 months from now, you'd have that 6-figure dev job? You'd have a job that you enjoy, maybe even remote working from home. What would that be worth? What would that be worth to you, right? To have that 6-figure salary, right? And what if I could show you a program where everyone is getting 6-figure offers? And remember, those 6-figure offers, that's just for the first year. But you get to keep doing that over and over again, year after year for a whole career. In fact, some of the stories I'll share with you tonight, right? We had a student that paid $15,000 and got a job, $150K job 7 months later. Is that kind of investment worth it? Where you 10x your money? Is 10xing your investment worth it? Right? Most investors would do a lot for a 10x return. Most of the time, they're doing a 5 to 10% return, right? That's a tenth versus 10xing, where you're multiplying it by 10. And what if I could show you a program that's easy, right? Super simple, right? Not necessarily easy, but super simple, right? You just have to follow the path, that it works. 100% six-figure job offers in the last 9 months, and that you can do it, that you can actually walk this pathway, that you can actually walk this pathway. If that describes you, I'd like to invite you to join the Tech Joy Academy so that you can go from ghosted to unstoppable in tech, right? So that you can learn how to think like a coder to solve any tech challenge that comes your way, right? With real world clients, real world experience on your resume, where you can collaborate with AI and humans, where you can have experience deploying and proof of it. So you have everything that current employers are looking for, right? That ability to collaborate, that experience deploying, that proof on your resume, having resume reviews, right? One-on-one resume reviews and interview practice. All this together, I mean, there are boot camps that charge anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000, right? As it is, this would be an incredible value at $15K, right? And in fact, some of the wins that I've shared with you tonight, they even paid $15K. One woman got that $150K job just 7 months after joining. Totally 10x her investment. Would that be worth it to you if you 10x'd your investment? Would that be cool with you? If you got to 10x your investment, let me know. Thumbs up. Mo's giving me a yes. Asha's giving me a yes, right? Now, even at $15K, this would be an incredible value. But we're not going to charge that today. And even at $7,500, this would be an incredible value for a six-figure job opportunity. Our student job offers have ranged from anywhere from $70K to $170K. And in fact, all of our offers since last fall have been 6 figures or more. Every student who sticks with this program has been successful. It's that simple. Your 10x investment is practically guaranteed. Practically. But is it cool with you guys if I do something a little bit crazy for the holiday weekend? All right, just for the holiday. When you decide to join us this weekend, it's only $6K. A crazy deal for a 6-figure job offer, right? Like more than 10x return on investment, right? And you get to make that in your career every single year. All you have to do is walk the path we put in front of you. A tech job has never been easier. Now, I know not everyone has 6K lying around, which is why we've partnered with Klarna Financing to make this available for you for only $288 a month. Just $288 a month, right? Now, this holiday special, legit, 11 a.m. on Wednesday morning, it's going back up to $7,500 or $350 a month with Klarna. So this 20% holiday discount, you're going to want to make a decision, right? Like this weekend, this week. But you don't have to make this decision alone. If you have questions, I would love to hop on a quick career strategy call with you. No strings attached, right? So it's at sixfig.dev. Sixfig.dev. Let me see if I can paste it in the chat here for you guys. All right, I'll give this a shot. Let's see if we can paste this for you. All right, there we go. Excellent. This call is about you and your career, right? You and your career. So if you're interested, please, I dropped the link in the chat. Again, no strings attached. I just want to serve you and your coding career and help you move forward any way that I can. All right, any way that I can. And if you have any questions right now, please put them in the Q&A chat on Zoom and I'll answer them at the end, okay? Awesome sauce, folks. Now, I do want to just let you know that we have been running this weekend, right? We had an event just a couple days ago, and we only have 6 spots left. We only have 6 spots left. There's quite a few of you here, right? So more spots will open up later in the summer, but if you miss this window, there's a reason why I'm having this special right now. You'll miss the fall job rush if you delay. You'll miss the fall job rush if you delay. Okay, excellent. Let me make sure I get this. There we go. Ha. Excellent. If you work quickly and build momentum this summer, when you do that, you will be just in time to apply when jobs open up again in September. So my advice is not to wait, because hiring shuts down typically November through March. I've seen it every year that I've been in business. So in reality, our students are only getting hired for a few months every year, March through June and September through October. When you make a decision this weekend or early this week, I will personally onboard you one-on-one myself. This is a concierge level service, usually reserved only for our inner circle members, paying over $10K to join, right? So I'm going to personally onboard you. And can I give you guys a super special gift tonight on top of everything else, right? And don't worry, I will show you a couple testimonials as well, Ali. I want to give you guys, is it cool? Can I give you guys like one more thing? Like on top of the incredible value, the fact that you can like 10x your investment, can I do one thing that just really puts it over the top and makes decision easy for you? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat if you guys are game. Who's in? Yes, Mo's raised his hand. All right, let's do this. What if we could guarantee that you would 10x your investment? Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be awesome? Man. Can I just make this decision stupid easy for you? What if there was no risk? Would you guys be into that? When you make a decision this weekend to join, I will personally guarantee you a job offer. Yes, Jane. Or you don't pay. And to be clear, you do have to complete the program. But when you complete the program and follow our job hunt guidelines, if for some crazy reason you're unsuccessful in getting a job offer, it's on me. It's on me. Okay? I shoulder the risk, so you don't have to. Is that fair? What do you guys think? Is that a fair trade? That I'm going to basically 10x your investment or more, or I'm going to give you your money back. It's not a risk for me because I know our grads get hired. All right. Yeah, pretty awesome. Let me show you a couple of those while you're thinking on it. Let me show you a couple of those. All right. Because our grads get tech jobs, right? Anywhere from 70 to 170K. Here's just a couple examples. We had Adi, 75K, fully remote. We had Mike. He only did the first month of training, 115K. He was in IT before, so we just added code on top of it. 150K contract. Doris, 150K. She did the first 2 months of the training. It took her a little bit. Life was happening for sure. She finished the first 2 months of training. 7 months after she started the academy, she had a death in the family, some delay. 150K job, 7 months, right? Only did the first 2 months of work. Like, how crazy is that? And then Nick, he doesn't like me to say exactly what his salary was, but he has our top ever. And he got hired as an AI software engineer. Dream job. He'd been applying for months and months and months before he joined us, saw nothing, and he finally got the offer after he had the internship, right? Super awesome. I could give you more, right? I have to dig them up. But like, there's been so many. I just try to pick out some to highlight for you guys. There's a couple examples. Grads like Doris, Mike, Mo, and dozens more have used this system to build real-world projects with AI, get interviewed fast, and land offers paying 70 to 170K, even when they had no prior coding experience. All they did was follow our blueprint that I've been sharing with you today. Now I have one more thing I really want to share with you guys. And I will stay as long as needed to answer all the questions, right? So I'm just, I want to help you move forward any way that I can. Okay, any way that I can. You were made for this if you're here. At TechJoy, our grads transform the world of software for good. And you can too. So I'd like to take a minute and just share Ida's story, one of my favorite students. How many of you guys agree that it might be harder to learn how to code if you were blind? Who thinks it'd be harder to learn how to code if you were blind? Yeah. Like imagine if you could only see this much of the computer screen, just this little bit. Would you become a software developer? I don't know if I would have. I think I might have just said, coding's not for me. Not Ida. Not only did she use our approach to learn smarter, not harder, she became a six-figure software developer at Chase Manhattan Bank, one of the biggest banks in the world. And get this. Now she makes banking software more accessible for those who are totally blind. Right? I want you to have that kind of impact. Ida took something that most of us would have thought was an insurmountable challenge, being partially sighted, being blind, legally blind. She didn't let it stop her. She learned to code anyways. And then she took her unique perspective on the world, the fact that she could see a little bit, but not completely. And she used it to help those who can't see at all, to help their banking software be more usable for them. I want you to have that kind of impact, because I know that each of us has a unique contribution to make in the world. And if you're here, it's because you have something to contribute, something the world needs in tech that only you can provide. I do this. I show up, right? I give this to you today because I know that society wins when we all get a seat at the table. Okay? It's about transformation, not just information. And so today, I'm offering you a chance to join us and take your place where you belong in the world of tech. Okay? So now the only question is, will you? Because you literally have nothing to lose and everything to gain. The future you've been dreaming about, that you deserve, it's right here. With my job offer guarantee, I'm literally guaranteeing you a 10x return on your investment, or you don't pay. Right? You get to choose your future. You're worth it. You get to decide to take charge of your life. We've got your back. You don't have to do this alone anymore. Let's do this together. All right? Let's do this together. Awesome sauce, folks. I'm going to pop this link down below. If you're watching the replay, the link will be below. If you're here live, it's in the chat. Click on it. Let's have a conversation about how we can help you move your six-figure career forward, even if it's just to talk to me and pick my brain about your career, right? And how to help advise you moving forward. I've helped dozens and dozens and dozens of students get six-figure job offers. I've taught thousands of students how to code at this point. I can help you too. All right. Super, super awesome. You can set up a call with me and my team, and we'd be happy to talk with you. All right. Happy to talk with you. Let's do this together. All right. I'm going to stay and answer every question that I see. I do realize, right, we've been together for a long time. If you're not able to stay, I want to thank you for showing up today, for showing up for you in your future, and for allowing me this opportunity to share with you what I've learned about how to get a six-figure tech job in the age of AI. If you'd like to continue the conversation, please drag my email out of the spam folder into your inbox so you can see what I'm sharing every week. I share new tidbits and things that I've learned. We go live every week on our YouTube channel, and we also have a Facebook group where you can get questions answered. So if you're doing some learning on your own, or you've got some career questions, please feel free to share with us there. All right. And as always, you can always text us and email us. You can reply to any of our messages. Yes, we do have real humans on the other side, and that's partially why it takes us a little bit longer to get back to you, because we take the time to actually have a human respond. All right. So just to be clear, if you're waiting a few hours and you don't have a response yet, it's because we're actually taking the time to have a human carefully and thoughtfully reply. Okay. Awesome sauce, folks. Thank you again, and I wish you the best of luck on your journey.